I like seeing two people at the top of their game go head to head. Kendrick Lamar, who's arguably one of the best rappers.
Yeah.
And then Drake, who's arguably one of the best artists. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg were going to have an MMA fight. Mayweather McGregor. Two titans.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, very cool.
I live for those moments.
I'm not an underdog guy. The best of the best need to slug it out. They've worked harder than you. You don't deserve to be there. Manifesting isn't sitting there and going, great things are going to happen. Where's my $1 million? And it magically happens. It's about
We don't experience life. We experience what we focus on in life.
But how do you deal with stress when you're in a stressful situation?
Yeah, I always remind myself, hey, this is your choice.
Yeah. It's like, you chose it. You chose to do this.
Yeah.
What did you expect? You won $1 million a day. Did you think it was going to be easy?
Do you know what I really like?
Please tell me.
I like starting the podcast off with the most random things ever.
Yeah, we've done that quite a few times now, haven't we? And I feel like you've got something brewing.
I do. And do you know what I really like? Did you watch the NFL halftime show, Super Bowl?
None of it. None of it. I saw Kendrick. Was it Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of his performance and that's about it.
What do you think of it?
Indifferent.
You don't know anything about it, right?
Nothing. I heard there's some beef with him and Drake or some shit like that. And
yeah, so you have zero awareness around
anything.
Do you know anything about that? Nothing? Okay, cool.
Enlighten us.
Nah.
Nah, don't sort it out.
Yeah. It's cool. You know what I like? I like seeing two people at the top of their game go head to head.
Yeah, absolutely.
I fucking love it.
Me too. Like, couldn't agree more. I'm not an underdog guy. I don't like go on the battler, get up there and win and get one for us common folk. No, fuck ya. The best of the best need to slug it out. They've worked harder than you. You don't deserve to be there.
Not about the common folk. I'm talking about titans.
Yeah, that's right. But I'm talking about the biggest guys.
Yeah, so you're talking about, in that case, you're talking about Kendrick Lamar, who's arguably one of the best rappers.
Yeah.
And then Drake, who's arguably one of the best artists ever, right? And they've had this feud, like this beef. And there was, this is sick. For anyone who's listening who follows the beef, I hope you watched it. If you haven't, go, it's free. You can watch the Super Bowl halftime show. And when they had this beef, there was this song that came out. You would have heard it, I guarantee it.
Yeah. I heard the song.
Yeah, it's called Not Like Us.
His most popular one.
Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. It's called Not Like Us, and they had massive diss to Drake.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of reviews on it.
Calls him a pedophile.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of reviews saying the halftime show was shit. And everyone was waiting just for that one song, and that was it.
I think there's a lot of Drake fans.
Yeah, right.
Drake's a star, dude. Like superstar. I'm pretty sure he's in Australia.
Oh, is he?
Right now.
Oh, man, reach out.
Anyway.
Drake, you listening?
There was this whole thing around they're going to get sued. So they had a beef. Kendrick won the beef. Got the NFL Super Bowl thing. So he's going to be the halftime show solely. And everyone was saying, is he going to play the song? Is he going to play the song? How he can't, like going to call Drake a pedophile at the Super Bowl. And everyone was saying Drake's going to sue him if he does. And then he goes and he says, I want to play your favorite song, but I'm afraid they're going to sue. And then the song starts and the crowd erupts and then he cuts off the song. And then he goes to a different song and he comes back around and he plays the song. And the whole stadium sings the line that calls Drake a pedophile. Phenomenal. In my opinion. I love Drake.
Yeah.
Love him, but phenomenal. I love seeing two people here go head to head like that. I think it's the greatest thing in the world. Dude, like when Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg were going to have an MMA fight.
Oh, yeah.
I was pumped. Do you know what I mean? Two titans.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, very cool.
I live for those moments. Mayweather McGregor. You know what I mean? Two at the top of their game. This is what life's all about.
Yeah.
These moments. I want to have a moment like that.
All right, let's punch on.
That'd be sick. All right.
Next,
get engaged.
Yeah, it'll be the next podcast.
Someone told me that we should do podcasts live, like a live show, like have an audience.
You weren't talking to yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
You've been wanting to do that for ages. That'd be cool. A live podcast, make it an event.
Imagine,
have some drinks, have some cocktails, and away we go.
That's become a common thing.
To do a live podcast with people in the room.
In the US, yeah. So they'll do
get live studio audience participation, or you're just talking?
they'll book out like a theater and they'll just go on stage and instead of like stand up,
Yeah.
two people will do a podcast live with the audience and do like get engagement and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah, it's a really weird, different way of doing it.
Some people I think would be nervous about that because they get nervous when getting in front of people, but I don't think I would. I reckon I've had enough stage time not to be nervous anymore.
Do you still get
Butterflies? Yeah, I mean,
jitters?
I think like the first 3 seconds, you're about to get on stage, you're like, oh, fuck, I haven't done this in a while. What do I say? What do I do? But then literally, 3 minutes in, you're just like, boom, just rolls off
I don't get it
off the tongue.
like at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. But I think that like first, I don't know, it's not nervous. I'm like, let's fucking go.
It's excitement.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It's probably that anticipation, the build up, because
Yeah,
it's generally like 3 months before we do those types of trainings, where we book out events and whatnot, which we got one coming up in a couple of weeks. So if you haven't registered yet for the Construction Success Conference.
Might air on that week.
Sorry?
This will probably air on that week.
Yeah, that's all right. Still fucking time. Get your shit together. Get your shit together or just sign up, change your life. Yeah, so that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to that event. And we're going to Adelaide for the very first time. Small country town in Australia.
If you don't know Adelaide,
Google it.
I've actually never been
Haven't you?
to the city, no.
I haven't been in a very long time. I haven't been for about 14 odd years, but I used to go, before that, I used to go all the time. Had some family in Adelaide.
Oh, okay.
So we used to go and visit. We used to drive up when we were kids and see them. And then when I was older, I used to fly, drive, went up a few times with some friends as well. So I always enjoyed it when I liked it there. Well, when I went there, it was, it was cool. Always enjoyed it down there. So I'm looking forward to going back.
Do you think it's changed?
Oh, probably hasn't. From what I hear, it hasn't.
Same shit.
Yeah, it's sort of it's just.
How long haven't you been?
Yeah, I reckon probably 14 years, thereabouts. So it's been quite a while. Some of that family's even moved down to Melbourne since then. So there'll be probably even less reason to go up. But yeah, looking forward to going down there for the event. And it'll be interesting to see the market. Like, again, testing it. We've got to spend money, got to make considerable effort, a decent investment to go there and see what it's like. A lot of people are saying, don't go to Adelaide. It's not a great return. And I'm like, well, why? Like, because it hasn't been for you doesn't mean it won't be for me. I've had quite a few clients come out of Adelaide. I've had clients from Adelaide fly to Melbourne and then sign up to 12-month courses with myself. So for me to go there, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a deal breaker. I reckon it'll do quite well. So I'm looking forward to jumping on that bandwagon.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it will. It will. It'll be the first interstate trip for the year, the first interstate training. And then, back to Melbourne. We'll have an event a month later. Yeah, about a month and a bit later, which I'm looking forward to. And scheduled out the year pretty much. So it's good to have at least planned that whole year of events and trainings and everything going on, which I'm really pumped about.
How do you want to share the story of how you did your first event?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So in what do you want me to share? So you smile as if there's something specific you want me to bring?
No,
Well, what was cool, if it's just a general thing, what was cool is we literally did the training. We invested a fair bit of time, effort and money into this training to be able to learn how to speak on stage. So it wasn't just a matter of getting up there and talking. I think I could always do that. I've never really been one to shy away. If someone said, hey, get up on stage, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll be nervous. But once I'm on there, I'm like killing it. But it was great to get that training and then do it with purpose with regards to how you speak, how you present, how you communicate with all of the people in the room. And we had done pretty much all the training. It was like combined, I think it was about 17 odd days worth of training, not in one go, but over a 3-week period. Or over a 3 break period, let's say. And yeah, we ran our ads. You ran the ads. I didn't do anything. You ran it, and we booked the venue. Had no idea of turnout, nothing. And I remember doing a webinar one night, and we got like 10 tickets sold. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. How good is this? We're going to have like 300 people there. And anyway, I think our very first event, we had about 70 people. Paid tickets anywhere between $100 to $200 for a ticket. And on that actual day after the day I presented, it was like we were in a glass house. We were literally in a glass room and the air conditioning wasn't working for shit. And it was 33 degrees outside. It was probably about 38 degrees inside. So everyone was pretty sweaty and uncomfortable, and it was just a hot day. But after going through that training and doing that presentation, it was so cool to get people to go to the back of the room and actually buy your product and your service, and to see that, like, the power of everything we had learnt implemented. You took the risk, because you know, it's like when you say with marketing, you've got to spend money. You have to go backwards before you go forwards. So it was great to see that ROI where we've spent this money, and really at that time it was quite low cost, because I think I had enough of a brand, of enough people knowing me and what I'm about, that probably helped the sales and the cost per acquisition to go down. So once they got them in the room, I think it was a little bit easier for them to convince to come on board, because they'd built that connection with me prior. The interesting thing that followed thereafter was seeing how your cost per acquisition goes up and your audience is more and more cold. And that means your influence needs to be more and more on these people to get them to buy, and you have to add more steps and all that sort of stuff. So it's been quite an interesting journey to see all that.
So I think there's two sides to that, though, because there is the no one knows you in the room, like no one knows you personally.
Yep.
Most now, everyone you say who's seen the content, most people have the answer. But most people in the room now have never met you.
Yes.
Like most of the people, when we first did the first event, you walked into the room and you're like, I probably know 50% of the room.
Yeah. That's right. Or
and now you're walking in and you're like, don't know, might know one person here. Don't know the whole room.
But even asking them, we often ask, who's ever said, I think you actually do it more than me. You go, anyone put your hand up if you've seen any of George's content before today. And that hand going up is less and less and less each event. That's what I've noticed too, because a lot of the time at the very beginning, it was like, yeah, everyone would put their hand up. Oh, yeah, I've seen George's stuff. And then it's progressively gone down, or they've followed after an ad and engaged after an ad.
Yeah. I think the audience getting colder and colder is like, it has two different effects. One, obviously it's more difficult to get them into the room. But two, I think there is the upside of they don't know you. Do you know what I mean? So like, you've got an opportunity to make a first impression.
Yeah.
Whereas someone else might be like, nah, it's George, man. It's George. You know what I mean? I know George. Nah, I've known George for ages. Went to high school with George. You know what I mean? Like, whereas because people put limitations on you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, yeah, of course. But like, nah, it's George. I know George. It's George, you know?
So funny, I spoke to someone yesterday who I've never met before, never ever engaged with. He sent an email saying about he bought a ticket to a previous event and can it get credited to the next one? I'm like, yeah, sure, no worries. Which one is it? And he goes, yeah, it was this one. I said, cool, I'll register you. You'll get your ticket, no worries. And because he called the office and one of the guys answered downstairs, and then they transferred the call upstairs. And normally my PA will take care of that, but she's been away sick for the last couple of weeks. So he came to me and said, yeah, look, I'll have it. And the guy got nervous speaking to me. He's like, oh, is it George? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, it's so weird speaking to you. He goes, I just watch your videos and it's like, oh, now I'm actually talking to you. This is amazing. Like, oh, go relax, mate. Just what do you need?
Yeah.
And he re-registered from the event. So it that just goes to show me, and it should show you guys listening and watching, the power of brand. I've built an emotional connection with someone and I've never met them before. No matter what business you're in, forget the fact that I'm doing consulting and talking to another business, a B2B. If you're a florist, a builder, like in marketing, whatever it might be, just pizza, whatever it is, you can get that emotional connection with people just by building brand. And it doesn't always mean you're in front of the camera or whatever it might be. It might be your product that you're showcasing, but I think you're more likely to get influence when you're in front of camera. But that's been a cool journey to see.
What are some things that, if you could go back and talk to, because I remember when, it feels like not that long ago.
Yeah,
you look back, you're like, it's been that long.
Yeah, I can't exactly. It's been 2 years.
Oh,
no, 2 years since we've been running events.
It's the first event was run over 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it was like around this time last, like 2 years ago.
But think about from the point of commitment.
Yeah.
To now, it's
been
almost 2.5 years.
At least,
right?
At least.
And it's like, what would you say to yourself? Like, from everything now, the experience, the journey, the lessons, the whole, from start to finish, all the experience you've gained in that period. Like, what would you, if you could go to, what year was it? 2022? So it was 2022, 23.
Yeah, 3.
Nah.
4, 5, 2.
So 2. End of 2022. Fuck, we're getting old. If you could go back to the end of 2022 and you could go and talk to George, who was walking out of that 5-day training, and he was pumped, and he was like, that's where the name came from, right?
Yeah.
$1 Million Days came from that event. And he was walking out that day. If you could stop him and just say, hey, I just want you to know, finish sentence.
It's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. It's been so much fun. I mean, that very first, I can never describe the moment, even the day when we do make $1 million in a day, because it's going to happen, guys. Like, you don't get it. Everyone looks at this sign, and when we talk about it, and it's like, I know people dismiss it.
You reckon?
Oh, fucking oath, 100%. In the sense they may not say it to us. They might not say you'll never make it.
I don't get any pushback. People
no, not pushback from that perspective. But I can tell, like, people, like, oh, you'll never make $1 million in a day. It's like, no, it's impossible. All right. The limiting beliefs, they're limiting beliefs. But for you and for me, it's not a matter of if, just when. And we're very patient. We're patiently aggressive. I like that term. I'm working, but I know it's coming. And I don't know where I was going with that, but I think when I first finished that training, I was like, yeah, I'm going to make $1 million sooner than I thought. And the feeling I had after that very first event, so that very first event, I'm going to be completely open here. I made close to $350,000 in a day after that very first training. Now, when I say in a day, it wasn't deposited into the bank account. It was committed in the bank account of sale. Like, it was committed over the course of 12 months in sales. Now, that figure did drop because some people pulled out. We had to refine the program. Like, a whole range of things happened. So it wasn't actually that much. But the feeling to have gone through that and get that level of sales showed me that it was possible, that it can be done. And the funny thing is, I've never been able to repeat that since. Not once. And I'm looking forward to my next 3-day training, because I feel that over the last 2 years, I realized this quickly, probably after the third event, when I didn't get many sales. I probably got 2 or 3 or something like that. Now, don't get me wrong, it was still $100,000 worth of sales, but I'm like, why is this diminishing? Why is it going backwards? I'm getting better. It should be going the other way around. And there's been a lot over the last 2 years of trial and error. And that's where I think people give up. They see they might get a bit of result, and then it becomes harder, and they're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. It's not working, or the market's shit, and they blame everything and everyone else. But what I realized going back to your original question, what would you say? I probably wouldn't say a few words. I'd say it's going to be sick, but you're also going to need to put in the work, because it hasn't been as easy as everyone might see it. Because, yeah, it looks glamorous that we're on stage, we're selling, we've got a room full of 100 people each time we do it, thereabouts. It looks like we're killing it and all that sort of stuff. But what you don't understand is every cent that I've made in this business, I've actually reinvested back into the business. I have taken out fuck all. Take that back. I bought a car. That's it. And even then, I lease a car. So I didn't go spend $300,000 on a car. I've just used some of that income to go and buy a car. So that's probably the only thing I bought selfishly. Now, there was a period, I think it was mid last year, we spent $20,000 a month on ad spend. Forget what I paid you, forget what we paid venue hire, forget what we paid for travel to do Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. So we would have spent close to probably $70,000, $80,000 across the course of 3 months. That's a lot of money. For someone that's never really run ads like that before, to turn around and go, fuck it, let's go. $20,000 a month, that's a lot of money. That was a lot of balls to do that. I thought it was, for me anyway at the time. I'm sure there's other people out there running hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, you know what I mean, playing the bigger game. But for me to go from spending $5,000 a month to then go, no, let's go $20,000 a month, let's go all out. It was probably a little bit, we didn't get the result from that investment. I probably not broke even. I made a little bit more than breaking even from that, let's call it a tour, but learned a lot. We changed from that whole series or that tour. We changed the way we ran ads, I've changed the way I present. I changed my offer a lot. I've gone and spoken to mentors, to other people. What can I change? What can I do? And I'm really excited now because all those experiences over the last 2 years, we can now put together and cultivate something and go, I think this is going to be the best value for people, that they will look at it and go, it's a no-brainer. I have to sign up. Because when value exceeds price, people make decisions. And that's what I've really looked at now. You know, we've been studying and watching a lot of Hormozy's stuff. That's his number one thing. You know, you got to provide that value. A lot of the salespeople, they say, like, it all comes down to the value. You know, if I've got my watch here, all right, and this is a Rolex right now. There's a Rolex. I'm going to sell it to you. You know, this is worth $30,000, and you're negative $100 in your bank account right now. But I tell you, look, I'm going to sell this Rolex to you right now for $3,000. Are you going to go find $3,000? Of course you are, because you know the perceived value of what I've got in my hand and what I'm going to give you. Now, you need to do the same thing with your product. People need to look at that and go, holy shit, that product, if I don't pay for it, or if I don't find a way to make the money for it, I'm going to be worse off than me giving over that money. So, and it's not a manipulation thing at all. I genuinely believe in the product, that if you purchased it, your life and your business will be better as a result of that. And the beauty about that is I've seen it firsthand with the people that have already gone through the course, because it's now had 2 groups of people saying, you know, over the course of 24 months, go through it, complete it, and I've seen the results in their business and what has flown on thereafter. Now, again, I can't guarantee it's going to work for you, because I can't guarantee you're going to do the work. But if you follow the process and believe in everything that we're doing and that what we've done, you're going to get extraordinary results. And that's what ends up happening. So that's what's been really cool to see. The complete opposite, not opposite, but flow and effect of that again is I think it's forced me to put a GM on in my business.
Right.
Because I couldn't, it got to a point, especially around mid last year, where my construction company was suffering because I was putting a lot of work into one and not as much in the other. And when I say suffering, it made me realize I can't do both efficiently. I was going to run out of time, effort, and resources to be able to do both, and one was going to suffer. One or the other would have suffered, because if I had to spend the time on doing my work at PASCON, then cool, the event might not have been as good. Or if I spend too much time on the event, then does that mean I lose a project here that could have made $500,000 in gross profit? Who knows? And it got to that stage where I actually almost lost a project at PASCON because I was spending so much time over here at Builder Elite. So it made me realize, and probably forced me to more so put someone on and go, cool, you're now the GM, you need to run the business, you need to start getting sales, growing, all that sort of stuff, and take stuff off my plate so I can concentrate on the broader picture of the company, but also focus on the Builder Elite stuff too. So there's been huge flow and effect with that, and a lot of stress, which I was actually going to touch on today as far as the topic is concerned. I've personally been, how do you, before I get into it, how do you deal with stress when you're in a stressful situation?
It's a good question. How do I cope?
Yeah. So you're under the pump, got so much on. Let's talk. It can be personal or professional, because I think they're one and the same in the sense of the feeling that you get.
The way you handle it.
That's right.
Yeah, I just remind myself that I choose to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big factor for me. Yeah, I always remind myself, like, hey, this is your choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go be a pleb.
Yeah, exactly. Have no
Go be a pleb, have a 9 to 5 and switch off.
Yep.
I don't want to do that. Okay, well, fucking man up. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the reality.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes I'll go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes because
like a physical break state.
Yeah, sometimes shit just falls apart. I used to have a little trampoline. I used to have like a little rebounder.
Yeah.
I used to bounce on that. But sometimes like everything's just falling apart and you feel like everyone you're talking to has no idea what you're saying. And then you're like, you know what? You know when that happens? I feel like that happens to me a lot. And it's like, all of a sudden, has everyone gotten
Stupid.
silly? Yeah. Trying to not harm anyone's feelings. I feel like that happens to me a lot. And then I just think, you know what? The odds of everyone becoming stupid at the same time are slim.
Yes.
Probably something I'm doing.
Yep.
And then I'll go and plug headphones in and just go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, cool, like clear my, or sometimes too, like I was saying to you, I've had days where like it's 4:30, everything's falling apart, and I'm just like, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I'm just fucking go away. Everything go away, leave me alone, and just go do something else.
Yeah.
And then come back to it. To clear my head.
Yeah, that's cool. I like the initial break state that you said. It's like, you chose it. You chose to do this.
Yeah.
And what did you expect? You won $1 million a day. Did you think it was going to be easy? Did you think that, I'm just going to rock up and work 9 to 5 and it's just magically going to happen? Of course not. They come with stress. It is hand in hand a prerequisite of you achieving anything great. Now, if you're going to be Mr. Olympia, you need to stress your body in such a way that it grows. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be lifting heavy weights. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be, you're going to have a huge amount of discipline to become Mr. Olympia. You need stress, and you mentioned this to me the other day, which has been a great thing. It's like, they say stress is the number one killer, but it's a number one killer if you think it's going to kill you. If you think stress is going to motivate you, if you think stress is there as a tool to help you progress and move forward and be able to achieve great things, then that's exactly what stress is going to do. If you sit here and go, this stress is bad, it's going to kill me, I can't do this anymore, I better slow down, I better go get my 9 to 5, I better quit, that's fine. But that's what's going to happen whenever you come up against stressful situations. And I think it's a great reminder that you keep saying, I choose to do this. Like, this isn't an easy slog. I've chosen to do this and I know it'll pay off. I just need to keep working. And that's something that I do to get through stress is I work. I go, okay, well, fucking let's go. This is stressful, but it'll be less stressful once that task is done. It'll be less stressful once I get through this. And when I get through this, I'll be stronger and better for it as a result of that stress. So I tend to go from stress to stress, just building those mental calluses.
From stress to stress?
Yeah, as in there's always something going on. I'm not saying stress is always a bad thing. Okay, I look at it's pressure as well.
Yeah.
There's that pressure to perform, that pressure to deliver, that pressure to get things done. It can be from a relationship point of view, you might have stresses. Okay, well, you chose to be married. You chose to have kids. You chose to have a mortgage. You chose to have an argument. So how do you change that? If you don't want to be in that stress state anymore, what does that mean? Does that mean you need to have an open and honest conversation with your partner about X, Y, Z to be less stressed? Does it mean you need to be humble? Does it mean you need to understand the other point of view a little bit better? Does it mean you need to sell your property? Does it mean you need to take a hit and lose some money? Well, Mosey put a post up a few months ago about this as well. And it was around, he goes, when I made $10,000, I lost $1,000 to get to the 10,000. Because when I made $100,000, he goes, I lost $10,000 to get that. He goes, when I made $100 million, I lost $10 million. He goes, it wasn't a loss. It was a lesson I needed to learn. It was a cost of success. I needed to have that loss in order for me to get to that level. I needed to make those $10 million worth of mistakes to make that $100 million. It's price of entry or cost of entry.
Yeah, the cost of the lesson.
Yeah, and I quite like that as well because I look at things different. When you look at it like that, well, this is just a lesson I had to have and pay for it so I don't ever have it again.
Yeah. So what do you do and how do you handle stress?
So working through it, first of all, I don't sort of curl up in a little ball and sit in the corner and I try and take more action than less, if that makes sense. Like this month, I'd say the last 3 weeks for myself in my business has been quite stressful from a point of view of delivery of projects, delivery of administrative things within the organization that needed to happen. I've had one of my PA's been away for 3 weeks. So that's added stress on myself, on the business, on all these things that I used to handball to her. And I go, yeah, cool, take care of this. I now have to do because I'm the only one that in the business at the moment that knows how to do some of those things. So particularly for Builder Elite. So there's been that stress, but then everything else I've had to do. So what does that mean? Oh, cool. Work at night. 3 fucking weeks. Big deal. Like I'll work at night. I come in here, like I've come in because again, I don't live far from the office. So I walked down to the office at 8 o'clock once the kids are all in bed and pumped out a few hours. Then went back home. and I got ahead the next day. So I was all good with everything I needed to do. As far as a stress release, you
don't have any space to work at home, huh? You should.
No, I don't now. I did.
Yeah.
I did, but I don't now because I converted the study or where I had some space to work. I've converted that into my son's bedroom.
Yeah.
But I could sit at his desk if I wanted to, but man, why would I don't need to anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so close to the office. I can just walk here at any stage that I want and do what I need to do. But as far as an actual release of stress, I think it was a couple of weeks ago I called you and I went to the restaurant next door to our office and I just sat there by myself and had dinner. Right? I just sat there by myself. I made a few calls, talked a bit of shit to a few people, yourself included, had a really nice fit. I'm like, I'm going to eat so much. I ordered heaps of food. I was even going to order dessert. I just sat there by myself and I ate. And it was so relaxing and peaceful just to unwind, not talk to really anyone opposite me or anything like that. Just eat my food, enjoy a nice meal and unwind. And then I went home after the dinner because my wife and kids they had gone to an early dinner elsewhere. I got home and I was so much more refreshed and clear of mind as a result of that. So that was something that really helped me. But other stress releases, going to the gym helps as well. I like exercising. So having a decent workout and getting rid of some of that energy often helps me.
Is there anything you do in the moment?
In the actual moment?
Yeah, but right now,
standing
shit goes
up.
down, what do you do?
Nothing specific that'll be like, okay, take 10 deep breaths or anything like that. I just have that mindset that it's going to pass. Like, there's no need to be upset over this. It's going to pass. You will get through it. I've gone through all the bad shit that's happened to me in my life to date.
Yeah, because
every single thing.
It's like a muscle. Like you build,
it is. It's a muscle.
Like things that would once stress you out don't.
Perfect example. Yesterday, I was speaking to Simon. He had, and Simon, for you that don't know, is my construction manager.
Shout out to Simon.
Shout out to Simon. Won't listen to this. You're
definitely
fired. After this.
If you listen, don't come into it.
If you listen to this,
have it after.
Yes. Simon, if you listen to this episode, text me and say, I listened to that episode. I'm going to give you the next day off. Paid. But if you don't listen to it, it has to be the next day.
And you have to tell him what the title of the episode is.
I'll tell him. No, I'm not going to tell him anything. He needs to listen to this.
I'm saying he has to tell me.
He has to tell me. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
But he doesn't know the episode.
And it is a timestamp it as well. At this moment in the episode, you said this, I could have the next day off.
33 minutes in. However long we've been going.
That's it. So he yesterday, he just had a shit day. Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, everything, he goes, I've had the worst day. Everything's going to be the worst. Right. And it's like he's pre-framed himself to have the worst day. Because he had a difficult thing happen in the morning, he had a difficult thing happen at lunch, he had a difficult thing happen in the afternoon, and then he had a difficult thing happen in the evening. Okay, so it's like, this has been the worst day ever. I just want to go home to sleep and sleep it off and move on. I said, dude, relax. Okay, you get through it. But if you keep thinking everything's going to be the worst, it will be the worst. Like he had to go to one of our jobs. He got called out because there was a water leak and he had to go there at 6:30 at night and check out the site and see where the fucking water leak was. And it turned out not to be our issue, but he still had to go there and do it. And the next morning, this morning I get to site and he goes, God, look at this. This is just cap off the day. And someone reversed into his car, which is actually my car, but reversed into car's a little scuff mark. Yeah, well, fuck, what do you do? Okay, if you keep looking at all the negative things in your life and all the problems in your life, what do you think is going to follow? More problems. It's that whole aspect and mindset around manifestation. You want to manifest something. It's not, manifesting isn't sitting there and going, great things are going to happen. Where's my $1 million? And it magically happens. It's about your perception on everything that happens outside of that moment. Because now you go, okay, today I'm going to have an amazing day. And mind, all I want you to do is just focus on the things that are amazing throughout the day. And that's all I need you to do. And you will see things that are great.
Do you do this?
Yeah, I have done that. And it definitely works. It definitely works. When I say, it's not a spiritual, magical thing. I don't believe it being a magical thing that's happening, but I do believe in the unconscious mind finding things throughout the day that you go, you know what? That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that it's been proven as well when you, if you have a daily practice of gratitude, you unconsciously have to look for, because you're like, fucking gonna ask myself later. You know what I mean? And then you're like, I better start noticing some of the stuff that I can write down later tonight.
Yeah.
Because you don't like having nothing to write down.
Yeah.
So you start to notice some of the better things. You know, I watched an interview a couple of weeks ago, Tony Robbins and Jordan Peterson. Fuck, I love Jordan Peterson, by the way.
Mad dog.
He's such a cool dude. And Tony Robbins said, we don't experience life. We experience what we focus on in life. You know what I mean? He's
So
like,
true.
yeah, he's like, you can go through life. You can both go through and have the exact same experience. And one person focuses on this and the other person focuses on that. Like the same, like a set of actions happens and you focus on this, I focus on that. We have a completely different experience. You know what I mean? You can walk the same path and have a completely different experience somewhere because it's all about what you look for.
Yeah.
And if Simon is looking at the wrong things,
that's what he's going to focus on. That's right. So having that mindset in a stressful situation, I think is so powerful. Not I think, it is so powerful. If you can train your mind not to focus on the shit things that are happening at the time and just realize it'll pass, realize that you'll get through it, you'll end up finding the good in those stressful situations. How good was that? I had to get a report in by a certain date for a client. And normally that report takes me 3 hours to do. And he sends me a message on Friday at 3:30. Okay, an email. It was like, if we don't get this report by today, and he moved the goalpost. I was going to get it to him on the 5th. And he goes, no, if you don't get it to me today by 5 p.m., he goes, you're going to miss the pay run and we won't be able to pay you. I'm like, fuck. I've got to do a report that normally takes me 3 hours in 1.5 hours. I just fucking boom, let's go. Didn't fuck around, got it done and submitted it.
why do you
And it was approved, it was done, it was dusted.
why do you think you're able to do that? I think you mentioned that before.
Yeah,
Why
I don't know if I mentioned it here, but we definitely spoke about it. Why do I think it happened? Well, things will take you as long as they take you. Like if you give yourself 3 hours, you'll probably take 3 hours to do it. If I give myself an hour and a half, it'll probably take me an hour and a half to do it.
So you've been doing an hour and a half report in 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's probably what I was doing. That's probably what I was doing. Because think about when I'm doing this report, I get the phone call. Oh, I better check email. I better do this. So the report itself probably doesn't take 3 hours, but it's all the distractions that come in between that of me working. And, what I've now done as well, I've actually, as a result of that, I time block the first of each month to do all these reports and things that I need to do for the business the whole day. So nothing else other than focusing on finance and reports. That's it. On the first of each month, because that's when I go and get my money in. And I've actually called it, who's got my money? That's what my meeting is on the first of every month, because who's got my money? Who's got it? Because someone has your money. It's in their bank account for the goods and services that you've provided. You need to get it into yours. So who's got it? This client's got it. Cool. Let's send him a claim. This person's got it. Cool. Let's give him a phone call. This person's got it. Let's send him their sponsorship deal. Let's do all that. Get everything out and get the money in. The first of every single month. That's what I'm doing for the whole day. Nothing else. Not processing invoices, not doing meetings, not fucking talking to the team. No one talked to me on the first of each month. I'm not interested. I'm not here. Unless if I finish that early, if it takes me half a day, great. The rest of the day, you can talk to me.
There's a really good, I think Grant Cardone says that.
Who's got my money?
Who's got my money?
That's it. He does.
He backs against the wall.
Yeah.
And he's like, who's got my money?
Who's got my money?
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's such a cool concept.
It is such a good concept. And that's
because I was like, who's got my money, man? Someone has the money that I need to make.
And GC, we're coming to see you next month. Coming to see you next month. We're going to 10X Growth Conference in Las Vegas. I see Alex Hormozy in Las Vegas. Going to do a whole bunch of cool
going
stuff.
to the UFC in Las Vegas.
Yeah, you're going to. I'm not. You are. That'll be pretty cool.
That seems sick.
Yeah.
Doing lots.
Yeah. It's going to be a really good trip from the perspective of. I love it because it's good. Like people say, oh, Las Vegas, you just go in there for the strippers and the fucking partying and boozing and all that shit. Well, that's obviously. But I love it because it's actually, we're going there. I enjoy getting things, like learning things I never knew.
Yeah.
And I really hope I sit, particularly, I don't think we'll get it so much at the 10X Growth Conference, because I think that's going to be more entertainment than education, even though it's a business conference. And you might pick up a few little things. It'd be great to see us as people that speak on stage, to see how they perform, what they do well, taking notes from that perspective, how you engage with your audience, because I think Grant's very good on stage as well. He's very charismatic and he can control a crowd. That's for sure. So it'd be good to see that, but then particularly from the Alex Hormozy course, because that's going to be 2 days of sort of, 9 to 6 content. And they're going to be presenting there as well. We'll probably get an opportunity to have a chat with them too.
You reckon?
I think so. Yeah. Maybe not like a one-on-one chat. Let's go to the back of the room or anything like that. But you'll probably get you will get an opportunity to ask a question if you've got one there for sure. And he'll spend the time. He'll spend the time to answer that question and make sure you get the answer.
And the strippers have really good reviews.
So
very good Google reviews.
Yeah, there you go.
From what I've heard, friend of a friend told me.
Well, it must be really good SEO they got going on.
It must be. They're doing something right. Or maybe it's just a great product.
Or when they leave, they're like, can you leave us a Google review before you leave? The marketing guys making it work.
If someone ever goes, they'll tell me and I'll tell you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's right. Not us. We wouldn't know.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know. So, I'm looking forward to that aspect of it, and it's a fair investment, spend a fair bit of money to go there and go to these trainings and these courses. But it also fills your cup up from the perspective of, looking at goals, or looking at your year. It's always good to have that one defining moment in a year where you can say, I did that and I'll remember that year for the rest of my life because of that one thing. And this could be one of those moments or one of those trips. But you look back and you go, you know what? 2025 was so, like when we went to Vegas and we went to Hormozy, GC, did all those other extracurricular activities. How good was that? What a great trip that was. And we're going with other friends who are business owners and will also be benefiting from going there too.
Friends is a stretch.
Have you messaged him this morning?
No.
Good morning?
No.
I might message him good afternoon.
Messaging good morning's good.
Yeah. You should do it to just a random person you haven't spoken to in a while.
They might freak.
They will freak. I hope they do.
And then they'll be stressed. And then they'll have to listen to this podcast and they'll have to subscribe.
I mean, that's a great stress relief, isn't it?
Subscribing.
Yeah.
Subscribe. You know what it's called when this is so random. You know what it's called when a word begins, every word in a sentence begins with the same letter?
No.
It's called alliteration.
Did I know that?
So
alliteration.
Subscribe. I got nothing.
Yeah. It's sexy,
stress-free, stressless. Subscribers,
yeah. There you go. I did not know that. And it's a good chance I will never use that ever again.
I reckon you will.
Maybe on stage.
Alliteration.
Maybe on stage. Maybe we can turn it into a training of some sort.
Yeah.
And sell it for $2,000.
Yeah. And then you'll be very glad you listened to this iPod broadcast. I'm just going to start using long words for everything.
Make you sound smarter?
I doubt it. But sure.
Exquisite.
We'll go with that.
So if you want to learn great things like that in your life, the way to do it is to subscribe so you don't ever miss out on any moment of anything.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah. This podcast is stressful.
Why?
It's not easy.
My phone's blowing up, dude.
Take what?
My phone's
That's what I mean. I had to turn mine on silent. Do not disturb. Might check it. Probably got a few missed calls.
You know what? I was actually stressed just before this call.
Yeah, I was too. Absolutely. Because I've got so much to do. But,
does having a lot to do stress you out?
No, I don't get flustered by that anymore. I used to. I don't anymore. I can take on a lot. That's what I've realized. And again, but I had to go through that stress to realize how much I can actually take on.
Yeah, but so again, does that turn around and say to you, okay, and we've had this conversation before. So this used to stress you out and then you went through this and now you've built up this barrier and then you'd open your own business and then that stresses you out and then you build this barrier and then you're like, nothing stresses me out. And it's like, are you not doing enough? Because something stresses everyone out.
Yeah, we've had it out.
Yeah.
Had it out.
And then it's like, cool, do you have the bandwidth to push more than you are?
Yep.
Not in the sense of work more or do more hours, but it's like it's toleration, dude. Like how much can you know what I mean? Think about the stresses that an Elon Musk has. You know what I mean? Or like someone running a Trump.
Yeah.
Trump's making some moves, man. I don't know if he might be losing me.
Nah. But got rid of paper straws.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic.
Is that not just a thing to be remembered by though?
That's so funny.
Anyway, think about how much stress he can handle.
Yeah.
Like that would be a whole nother level.
It must be at a level where he just doesn't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Fuck it, just whatever. Get rid of straws. Just get rid of paper straws. The worst thing ever. Let me suggest some wrong sign. But yeah, what a world we live in. What a world we live in with some of the stuff that he's actually signed off. You know, that you have to actually sign a fucking executive order.
Isn't it weird?
That's fucking weird. Like the other day, he sat there in Parliament, and what a great, like it was a great moment in the sense of what he did. But Parliament, wherever he was sitting, Oval Office, I don't fucking know. Somewhere he was sitting in a chair, and he had all these women behind him, and he was signing an order to say men can no longer compete in women's sport.
Yeah.
Like what a fucking world we live in. The fact that you have to sign an order to tell people that.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Does he have to? Or is he making an iconic, memorable moment so that when, because like,
Probably
you gotta turn around
Probably
and say, he could not be thinking all this through. He's made more decisions in the last 6 weeks than I've made in my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He cannot be thinking all this through. And then it's like, are you doing this for the greater good? Or are you doing this so that people say,
I remember
this guy came in and, you know what I mean? Yeah, he came in and really fucked shit up and came in and really started to make some change. Like, what's your overall objective here?
Well, I think time will tell. Are these changes actually going to have significance in
He's
America and the world?
Making more moves than I've ever seen anyone make ever.
Then what's the downturn? Like he's like, okay, signs an order, fucks up. Sorry, just erase that, do it again. But if it comes off, fucking genius.
Yeah.
Someone a little completely off track, but relevant. I was speaking to one of my friends is in the football world and connected to everything and everyone. And he was telling me once about Alistair Clarkson. And he was saying how Brett Radden used to be assistant coach at Hawthorn. And he was saying one day how Clarko goes and grabs the board and he moved James Sicily, who was full forward, or Jack Gunston, who was full forward every single day, kicking bags of 10, puts him in the back line. And he's like, Radden goes to him, he goes, what are you doing? He goes, like, Jack's kicking a bag. Why are you putting him in the back line? He goes, look, just put him there for a quarter. If it pays off and he stops whoever kicking a bag because he's defending him, because you look like a fucking genius. He goes, if not, you take him off, put him back in the forward line and he'll be all right. All right. He goes, but you've got to be willing to take the risk. You've got to be willing to make the move. And I think that's what Trump's doing. He's just making the moves and seeing what comes to fruition. Some moves will be big, some moves, like all these tariffs he's putting on everyone. Will that help? Who knows? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But he's a lot more influential than anyone else in the world, stopping wars and doing a whole range of shit at the moment. And yeah, I think that level of craziness, or at least when he says something, people look at it and go, fuck, he might actually do that. He doesn't care what people are thinking. Is he thinking of the consequences? I'm sure he's smarter than just, let's sign this and not think about it. I'm sure he's got people behind him going, well, do some research, have a look at it before we sign anything off. What's the consequence? So yeah, I do think there's a level of that.
Yeah, but there's also a level of, don't know if I've ever seen anyone move faster.
I think speed's important.
For straws?
For anything, like speed, like you say, it's better to be first to market instead of best to market.
Yeah, it's better to be first than to be better.
Yeah, like let's move, like get shit done. Yeah, I like, that ceiling analogy. Yeah, for sure. Does it mean you need to handle more and do more? Absolutely. I think it does get to that point. You keep hitting the ceiling and go, well, how do you break through the ceiling? How do you get to that next level?
If you want more.
And we do though. Because like I keep asking, like you said, you've asked for this stress. It's like you want the yacht. You want to take the chopper to the yacht. Are you still doing helicopter lessons? Got to ask your pilot? Yeah. But if you want to take, it's killer. But you're taking the chopper.
I know someone that is now.
Oh, really?
I think
because of listening to this podcast?
Maybe.
100%. Why would they get one otherwise? But we want to fly the chopper to the yacht or get that super yacht or do whatever. Get your private jet. Those things require you to break through the ceiling each and every time. And then when you get that jet, well, okay, you only have a $20 million jet. What's wrong with you? People have $300 million jets. If, again, that's what you want. But
is that what you want?
Do I want like a jet? Or are you just saying to get to that level?
Both.
The Jets, no, not specifically. What I want is it's choice. That's what I want.
You don't have choice now?
I do. I want more. To do what I want, when I want, how I want. It's, it's the thing. Money's the tool to get the freedom, to get the things that you want when you want. So I want to get it to that level. And I know that once I do get to that level, we spoke about this a little bit, like how much money is enough money per year? Like what could you not spend in a year? If you had $1 million a month, can you spend $1 million a month? Probably couldn't. What are you going to spend it on?
Not consistently.
Consistent. That's what I mean. You could go out and buy. You might buy a $10 million home in 1 month. But I'm saying to actually
have a
spend
lifestyle.
Yeah, correct.
What does that look like?
That's exactly.
It's jets and
it's everything. It's whatever you want it to be. So yeah, I'd like to think if I do get to that level, does it ever go? Sorry, when you get to that level, is it ever okay? Well, what does 100 million look like? What does 300 million look like? Or does it mean I go the complete opposite route? And I go, well, what just fills my cup now that I want to do things and gives me those opportunities? I've gone through all these stresses. Maybe it's a time where, you know what, I'm just going to travel for a year and not do anything. Maybe that's what that looks like. So I've gone through all the stress to have that.
Do you reckon you get bored?
It depends. It depends what I'm doing and who I'm doing it with. Yeah.
I reckon if I traveled for a whole year, I'd get bored.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's a lot to do in every other country.
Yeah, I know, but there's also like more buildings. Great. More beaches. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's that element too. Like at the start, you're like, hey man, this is a change of scenery. This is great. Blah, blah, blah. When that's all it starts to become, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like when you make great money and then you can say like, yeah, more money, it doesn't feel
that's right.
the same thing.
So you had this conversation with someone the other day. It's like, do you think Elon Musk is motivated by money? Do you think you can motivate Elon Musk with money? I don't think you can.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. Prove I'll go to Elon and say, I'll give you $1 million to pack up that fucking camera, that tripod. And he'll go, I'll give you 10 million not to talk to me ever again.
Yeah. To stop breathing.
Yeah.
To just
show you how. So yeah, it will get to a point where I think a lot of people aren't motivated by the dollars because they're just always there. Always there. So stress, good, bad, ugly. It's what you determine.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No.
At all.
Yeah. Look for it.
People get addicted to stress.
Yeah. The other day, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I used to, I remember I think it was this year, during just the time that I've been under the pump, I went to Coles and I saw the checkout chick there. Just like, I wonder what you're worried about. Like, you under the pump now today? There's a lot of customers coming through giving you a hard time. Are you worried about you didn't give that excellent customer service, or you just looking at the clock waiting to check out so you can go home and play PlayStation or go out with friends or go to the movies? You know what I mean?
So everyone's problems are
their problems. I know, but I'm just saying in the sense, but they probably it's assumption. They're probably just chilling, going through the motions, probably don't have too many stresses. Let's just say from a professional point of view, don't know anything personally, but in that role as a checkout chick or bloke or whatever you're doing, you're just processing. There's no real stress or pressure on you. The boss isn't going to yell at you because the profits are down for the quarter. Mr. Coles, he ain't coming down.
Mr. Coles.
And it was like, there was a moment I looked at that and I was like, must be nice. Maybe I should do that. I should just become a checkout chick for a little bit. I wonder what it's like. But I can't comprehend it. I could not comprehend going to that level again.
It's a different life.
Yeah. Oh, but think about when you first started like work. I remember I had a job working at a company called Hole Proof. They made underwear.
Were they hole proof?
I'd like to think so. But it was in their factory and you'd get all the boxes And
You worked the hole proof.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have
So
been,
you're learning something every day.
I would have been like 18 to 20 years old, somewhere there. And it was just my cousin got me the job. It was shift work. It was night work. So I'd actually work during the day. This is where I was always a hard worker. I would work during the day building fences. This was during uni, building fences, which was a hard slog, man. And then go home for an hour or so, 2 hours, and then go to hole proof at 7 to 12 or something like that, 3-4 hours, whatever we decided to work on the day. And it was literally just unpacking, like you get boxes, cut them open, empty all the socks or the underwear into the right section, go back, get more boxes. And they just bring trucks and you just had to keep unloading the boxes. That's all it was. Paid well because it was kind of out of hours work. And that was just go to work, don't like zone out. You don't need to do anything except unload boxes. There was no stress behind it. There was nothing behind it. It was just the job that had to be done. You could probably slack off if you wanted to, in the sense of walk slower than everyone else.
Go sit in the toilet for 10 minutes.
Yeah, you could do that sort of stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, and that's probably the last time I can ever remember, and just having a cruisy, chill out. My whole uni was that, really, if I'm going to be honest. It wasn't until I actually started working that I felt proper stress.
I can't remember the last time I felt that way, like completely switching off.
I remember a specific moment. I was on the beach in Mykonos in 2006. I remember.
Not a worry in the world.
I remember specifically thinking I was sitting on a chair. I think we'd gone from the club to the beach. Like it was morning. Didn't sleep that whole night. And I remember just sitting there on the beach and I'm going to sleep here right now. And I've got nothing to worry about.
That's sick. You know what's the thing?
In the world.
Going to bed and sitting there, no alarm.
You love that. Just you get to sleep in.
Yeah. And you can just like go have dude, sleep. You can do a whole episode on sleep. Sleep is so good. But
there's a lot of study on sleep and its importance in your life and how it has a direct correlation to your health, well-being and longevity.
They say it's the ultimate drug.
Fix everything.
Yeah. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah. There's
like how do people enjoy sleep
out there?
What part do you enjoy? The part where you're drifting off?
When no one just
you don't know, you can't enjoy the rest. Yeah. Stress. I used to go into holiday mode a lot.
What do you mean?
Holiday mode? Like, when you're on holiday? When you're going on annual leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so switched off. And people are talking to you and you're like, I'm just going to get to 4 o'clock. Like,
whilst you're
3 hours?
Whilst you're at work.
Yeah. 3 hours? Is there?
I used to like the actual summer break, where you took 2-3 weeks off work. That was when I was working for someone. That was always enjoyable. No stresses, like work literally turned off. You didn't answer emails, you didn't answer phone calls, you're just living your best life.
You don't get that through the holiday?
A little bit, not as much.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, like what do you mean? You don't get the holiday mode at all now? Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, as in people run ads through the...
Oh, but I've always got shit to do.
There's content.
Yeah, I've always got shit to do.
Yeah.
At every moment, any time, like I've always got something to do that needs to be done that I have to fucking, even on the holidays. As a business owner, I think it's very hard to switch off completely. This holiday, we were moving office for 2 weeks. Well, I was moving office for 2 weeks, I had to knock down walls, had to connect power, electricity, Telstra, water, the works. Get the server up and running, make sure Wi-Fi's on, computers are working, like everything. And great, first day back, everyone was in operation, which is good. But that was I had to work, like it was stressful. But I got it done. Everything happened. And then that last week of the holidays or the break, I went to Noosa and was able to actually relax and had a good time with the family and some friends. So I do like that period of the year because it does tend to die down and we're a lot calmer and cooler. But as I said, it never switches off.
Never switches off. Never skips a beat.
Just like we never skip an episode.
70.
This is 70. How good?
It's 70. 70.
So we'll get to 100 this year.
Yeah.
Very cool. I have to have a party. Cake.
Yeah.
What else?
We should do a whole episode about what we're going to eat in the US.
Okay. Good. The week before we leave.
Okay.
The week before we leave, we're going to tell you everything. Excellent. Well, I hope you guys learned something and at least came to a realization that your stresses is your choice. You've chosen to have that stress in your life, but also how you look at it, whether it's something that's going to bring you down or whether it's something that's going to drive you.
Stress only harmed those that thought it could harm them.
Yep. 100%. So, knowing that, what are you going to do with it? Leave us a comment somewhere on our socials in the podcast. Can you leave comments on like Apple Podcasts? Can you actually put a comment somewhere on the episode?
Nah.
Write a letter.
Leave us a review. Yeah, leave us that. That's what we should do. Let's ask for a review.
I'm going to ask for it. Yep. And ask one. And if you give us a review, you'll sleep well at night.
Yeah.
Good karma will come your way. You're going to manifest amazing things.
Yeah.
That'll happen in your life.
So I'm going to leave it at that.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Pleasure as always. Cannot wait to be in here again next Monday, bringing you some massive knowledge bombs. And I hope you have $1 million day.
Thanks, guys.